Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Any Revs UK. All things revolution from a UK perspective.
We are one with our strength, one with our hearts, one to England stand and scream. With you all the way until our dying day, revolution is our team. We are one with our strength.
Yes, hello. This is still a thing. I am back with another one. It's been, I don't know, far too long. 25 odd days and all that. But I am the Any Revs UK, all things New England Revolution from a UK perspective. Hi and welcome back. If you are new to the podcast, thank you for dropping by. As mentioned, it's kind of self-explanatory. I'm a New England Revolutions fan from across the pond, and I like to give my perspective of how I think all things are going in terms of transfers, news out of the club, obviously games, predictions, all that kind of good stuff. Obviously, really apologise for the fact that there's so much delay at the moment with me trying to get these done. It's just the fact that I do have a YouTube channel as well. I do a Leeds United podcast, which is the team that I support over in England. So yeah, it's just really hard to try and squeeze these in sometimes. So very, very sorry, but I am trying to get better. It's just quite hard sometimes. So it's been a while since we were last together. I'm not kind of going to go over everything that I've missed. It's been really disappointing as a New England Revolution fan as of recent in terms of transfer window results. Everything kind of not really going in our favour. I think last time we were together, I think it was the 2-0 loss to New York Red Bull. So I think there has only been a 3-3 draw to Orlando, and obviously the game against Philadelphia Union. We're kind of partially dissect the game against Philadelphia Union, kind of give you my thoughts on that one. Obviously the transfer window has now closed for us purchasing players from other teams, but obviously the free transfer window is still available, so it's worth kind of mentioning kind of what is available to us from that free transfer market if there's anything good out there. So yeah, it's not all done and doom and gloom so far. Something could happen, but it's not kind of what I think a lot of Revs fans thought was going to happen in this transfer window. Mike Burns has come out and obviously give us a bit of lip service saying that I think there was 1 or 2 transfers that were in the works, and that still could happen. But if it is 2 free transfers, then I don't think, again, it's not kind of what the Revolution was hoping for. We were hoping for some high quality players. We've got the space now in the club. We've got the cap space. It's all kind of set up nicely for us. Now, before we kind of go into dissecting the game and talking about my predictions going forward and talking about the transfer window, I kind of just want to touch on a lot of not really negativity as such, but obviously it is really hard to be a Revolution fan sometimes, and especially at the moment, because we started so well. And I think this is the big thing that everyone's got to remember, is that right at the start of the season, I don't think if you asked any Revolution fan, if we would have won this season, I don't think anyone in their right mind would have said, this is our year. Brad Friedel's untested at this level, and for him to come in, we knew the Revolution squad wasn't good enough from day one. He's got rid of a few players now, and he's brought in some players. Some might say that the loss of Lee Win and Nemeth, 2 big players, 2 very big players. Lee Win, very well thought of by Revolution fans, and performed very, very well in a Revolution shirt. Nemeth not so much so, but still 2 fairly big players. We've not really bought anyone to replace them as such, you would think. But then if you think back to when we bought Christian Pinilla in, now if you'd have said the loss of Lee Win for Pinilla, it kind of is a like-for-like swap, I think. However, obviously if we had Lee Win and Pinilla in the squad at the same time, then obviously things could be different at the moment. Who knows? It might not have worked out, because we've seen the whole, I don't want to say demise, but Callum Rowe's performance at the moment underneath the Friedel era has not been the best at all. It's really weird, because you keep seeing people talking, very highly of him as a player, and we know he's got it in his locker. We've seen him do it. He broke onto the the men's national team, and he is a quality player. There's no doubt about that. And for some reason, he's not fitting into the Brad Friedel philosophy, or there's not really fitting into a particular role at the moment. Which for me, I'm a big Callum Rowe fan. I've still got faith in him that he's going to come up big for us at some point in this season. I know it's getting later and later now. I just kind of think that he needs at the moment a run in the starting 11. I think he needs to be played in the same position, so he knows his role. Because at the moment he keeps seeing him, playing out right, in the middle, left back. He keeps moving around, more central, deeper role. He needs to be given a position, because we've seen how it happened with Diego at the start of the season. Diego got given that number 10 role. He said, "This is your role. It's yours to lose now." But Kellen's not really been given anything like that. He's not been said, okay, your role is this attacking right midfield role. This is your role now to lose. If you were to tell him this is your role, and he could work on that every single training. Then this is the kind of things that I need to improve to become a better right winger as such, rather than him just working as an overall general thing. I don't know where I'll be filling in this week. I don't know. I'm coming off the bench. I don't know where I'll be plonked onto the field. It's quite hard for him, I imagine, for a player to kind of he can't really tailor his training towards that or his individual performance, because he doesn't know where he's going to be playing. He hasn't got a particular role. Yes, it's good to be a utility player sometimes, and I'm not using this as any excuse whatsoever. He should be able to come in and fill in at right midfield without too much training. But for me, I think if he was given a particular role of running in the starting 11 in that particular role, I think it could really work. I mean, for me at the moment, Diego's not really working at the 10 role. He was really, really good at the start of the season. I think the whole Revolution as a whole team, I think this is going towards the whole team. We've been found out now for a few weeks. It's been plainly obvious. And to be fair, Brad has been trying to change things up. But for me, we keep trying to, pedal, we need a number 10. But why don't we not just don't play with number 10? At the moment, I don't think we've got a player that's good enough to hold down that role consistently. So just don't play with the number 10. Don't play with the number 10. Why do we never play two up front? I know the fact, we've only got one person that's really scoring at the moment, but everyone keeps saying that Juan Agadello's a striker. I mean, Juan's probably on his way out, to be fair, at the end of the season. But for the moment while we've got him, just utilise him. He's a quality player. You can't deny that he's not a good player for the MLS. He is a good player. And we just keep playing him out of position, potentially on the right-hand side. We've got players who just haven't played this season as well. I just think sometimes, for me, if you're Brad Friedel at the moment, we're struggling. We're struggling for form. He's trying different things. He wants to keep the same philosophy. That's fine. Philosophy. Oh my God, I can't even speak now. The philosophy and the mentality of the whole team can stay the same no matter what formation you play. Obviously, you're going to give people different roles. But for me to be knowing that we're on such like a downward spiral at the moment, and we've got to stop the rot. He keeps changing formation, but he's playing the same players pretty much. We've got, Haribo, Femi, Brian Wright, who just aren't getting a look in. And yes, they might not be MLS quality, but how do we know unless we start playing them? Or start all three of them in a game. Play two up top, play Femi and Wright up top. And, I know some people are probably screaming now, going, what are you talking about? You need to play your striker, he's on form. Yes, I would agree with that, but is Teal on form at the moment? No, he's not on form at the moment. No one's on form at the moment. Everyone's off form at the moment. We're not playing good enough as a team. Shake things up. We've brought Brandon Boy in at left back because nothing was working there. And to be fair, it's worked okay. It's not the best solution. It's not the solution to go forward with. But he's such a trier. He puts in 100% effort in no matter what you can ask of him, and it's working. But again, if he's now been told you're in my starting 11 at left back for every game, that's really good. That's what we need to be doing. We need to be locking them down and letting them know this is what's going to be happening now. As I mentioned before about Rove, he was told this is your position for the game. We're out in the starting 11. Playing right midfield. Then he knows what he needs to work on, and he can be training in that position constantly for a whole. Before the match, every single training session, he can be training in that position. So I think it is annoying at the moment, but as I mentioned right at the start, I don't think anyone thought this was I definitely didn't think this was Revolution season. I've always said right from day one this is probably a 3-year thing. So yes, it is really disheartening at the moment, and I just pray to God they do not sack Brad Friedel, because if they do, that would be the stupidest decision they've ever made. Because yes, we are on a bad run of form at the moment, but it can't. Some of it is obviously on Brad's shoulders because he's not being bold enough in some aspects, which is really weird when you think about how the stance he took on right at the start when he first walked in of he doesn't care what your name is and that kind of thing. But yeah, he's got these players on the bench that haven't played under him yet, and he's still not giving them a chance. Yet you've got players who are underperforming. So for me, I don't know. I think it's going to get to the point, hopefully, obviously I don't want this to happen, but say, for example, if we get to the point where the Revolution now are either secure in the playoff position or we're out, we're not going to make the playoffs. hopefully then he will just roll the dice and just start playing so many players just to see if they are at the level. Because at the end of the season, he needs to make some huge decisions of who he's going to let go out of the squad. Because if Femi and Brian Wright and Zachary Harrow aren't good enough, then he needs to release them. They need to start playing some football. They're all getting to the age now where they need to get some minutes under their belt, and they're just not going to get it at the Revolution under Brad Friedel, it seems. So yeah, he needs to make a huge decision on that one. I think Agadello's going to go as well, and it's I think there's going to be a bit of a clear out, to be perfectly honest. I just really hope that he gets backed by the board and he gets the opportunity to bring the players that he wants to bring. Because to be fair, the players he has brought in so far have worked really, apart from Somi maybe, that one hasn't worked out quite so well. But other than that, all the other players he's brought in have worked really, really well. Now, obviously, we haven't seen Machado. Well, we've seen a few minutes of him. We haven't seen Machado yet, and we haven't seen Mancienne. But from going on, what's happened previously, we're hoping that they'll fit into the roles quite well, and we'll just slot into the squad without any kind of qualms. But overall, as a Revolution fan, at the moment, obviously, it is a bit doom and gloom. But I am still happy with how we've. I honestly think because we performed so well at the start that everyone's hopes and dreams and expectations of the club started to rise a little bit too high maybe, and we've now been brought crashing back down to where Revolution probably belong at the moment. And I think if you look at the squad, I still think we're performing slightly better than what we should be with the roster that we've got. And I just really hope to God that they keep Brad on. They give him what he needs in the off season to build this squad again, and we just come back next season and give it a really good go, and Brad actually can showcase what he can do with his squad. Because at the moment, obviously, he's inherited the squad. I really hope that he does keep Rowe and Scotty Calderwell. I think Tyranny, I don't know if he can come back. Hopefully, if he doesn't come back as a player, he'll be kept in some capacity with the club, working with the youth teams, because he's got to stay around the club. He is New England Revolution through and through. But we need to find a left back. I think next season. I don't know I think the whole back line may look different. I think Delamea will still be around. Not too sure about Annie Barbar. But yeah, I think it depends obviously how Mancienne fits in as well. I think we may see a new goalkeeper, new left back, maybe Boy at right back. I think we might see completely. I think Diana will go as well. I think he'll be going. Midfield wise, I honestly hope we can keep Caicedo and Pania, but I'm unsure about that one. I don't know about obviously Machado at the moment, if he'll stay or go, or what's going to happen with him. It obviously be a bit weird to bring him in halfway through the season and then get rid of him, but at the moment we have not really seen enough of him to say if he's good or bad acquisition. And then going forward, I mean, really that whole, apart from Diego and Pania for me, that all needs to be worked on. If they want to go to that next level, that all needs to be worked on. And we need to kind of, have our own almost, way of football. We need to be known for something. Are we going to be a pacey team? Are we going to be, he wants this high press kind of style. He needs fast players. He's going to be able to put players under pressure. He needs stronger players in some aspects as well. So yeah, I think we need a brand of football, and we need to be known for that. So there's a lot to be done, and I've rambled for far too long, enough as it is already about the squad. But I just kind of need to get a feel. I didn't want to rant as much really, because it's not as I could have completely gone and ripped the Revolution to shreds for a lot of things that's been happening recently, and the whole transfer window is a bit of a letdown. But I always try and stay positive. I always try and take positives out of everything. Some people call me the most positive Revolution fan there is out there, which I do try and be realistic as well. I know the fact we're on a rubbish run of form at the moment, but I'm not going to say that none of it's Brad's fault, because some of it is Brad's fault. He's not good enough with his substitutions. Sometimes I feel he leaves it too late in the game to try and change things up. He needs to be bolder sometimes, and at half time he really still needs to make some substitutions. Sometimes at half time I feel when he's got it wrong. He needs to study. I really feel like they need to study the tape more and cater to who we're playing. Stop just playing the same team with pretty much the same formation all the time. He's done it in some aspects sometimes, but then I think the teams just know what we're going to do. They know when to press high, and they just look to counter us. And yeah, it's just come back to bite us so many times. I mean, look, we'll kind of now dive into the Philadelphia game. I'm not going to talk long for this because I've already talked for far too long as it is, and I know I talk really fast as well, so it's quite hard for a lot of you people to understand what I'm saying. But the Philadelphia Union game, for me, did the Revolution play well? Yes, the Revolution did play well. They played well for the majority of the game. We had more possession, we had good shots, and this is the thing, people, like, I keep talking about Teal Bunbury, is he good enough? And yes, he's had a really good season for the Revolution, but is he a good striker? For me, still no, he's not the best out there. There's loads of better options, because we created 23 chances in that match, yet we only scored 2 goals. So that people keep saying, oh, we need more creativity, but if you look back at the stats of pretty much most of the last games, out of the 2 teams, we normally are, on par, if not better, than the opposition we've lost against. So that goes to show that we are creating the chances, but we literally just do not have anyone who can finish the ball, which comes back to, is Teal Bunbury a good striker? And obviously this isn't all on Teal, because obviously there's other people who are missing opportunities and shots in that aspect. But, this goes back to, like, obviously when we played LA Galaxy. We obviously we didn't dominate the position, but we had far more chances than them. It was 15-9, and we still lost the match. Yes, we had 10 men. I understand that we had 10 men for the majority of the game, but we still managed to lose the game. And it's for me, it's because yes, we've got a lot of I actually think behind if you take Teal out of the situation, Nemeth's gone. Pinilla and Diego are very creative players, very creative players, very fast. They link up really well. But yeah, sometimes when they play it into Teal, I suppose in some aspects you could say sometimes the ball isn't perfect. But we just need an out and out. If we're going to play the way we're playing at the moment, we need I don't know how much is going to resonate with people, and I can't think of as an American equivalent. But Gary Lineker for England, or even Jermaine Defoe maybe, or something like that. A player who is just amazing in the box. Maybe not technically as gifted as some players, may not have all the skills and can do all these fancy flicks and all this kind of thing. But as soon as the ball gets to their feet, they know where the goal is and they know how to score a goal. And that's what we need. We need somebody who can score 20, 25 goals per season, guaranteed, every single season. We need the balls, obviously, to be played into them better sometimes. I'm not saying this is all Teal's fault at all. But for me at the moment, is he the striker to take the New England Revolution forward? From what I've seen so far this season, he definitely isn't. But not by himself. If we maybe play somebody up beside him, it could be a completely different game. But at the moment, what I've seen, him as a lone striker, he does not work as a lone striker. Yes, he will work his ass off for the whole 90 minutes. Run. And, I can't complain about that. And, I'm not saying he's a bad player at all. But is he the person to be the lead striker for the New England Revolution for us to win the cup? No. The answer for me is no. Do I have an option at the moment? No, I don't. There's no other alternative. But see, I've gone off on a tangent again there. The game against Philadelphia Union, we were good. We were actually quite good. There's a lot of positives to take out of it. Obviously, Andrew Farrell getting his second Revolution goal. The fact that we had 2 scorers who weren't strikers. We had obviously a defender right back, and we had Zahibo as well. Both though created for by 2 very attacking players in Pinilla and Diego Fundungas. Different style. Obviously, kind of playing Diego kind of almost upside alongside Teal. That's when I kind of thought, oh, this could work now. But I honestly think if you'd have pushed Diego out and maybe put one up front with Teal, that's kind of what I want to see. I want to see if that works for me. I do think that could work. But yeah, overall, Annie Barbar didn't have a good game. Turner, for me, had probably his worst game I've seen, him in the Revolution shirt. Some people were asking about, what happens with Turner now. I even put a tweet out about, what do we do? Obviously, for me, no, we need to see what he's like with Mancini in front of him first. See what Mancini can do to that midfield defence, and then see how Turner kind of comes, because we've seen how good he was at the start of the season. His confidence has took a bit of a knock now. I think we just need we need a shutout really. We need to actually go into the next match and not concede. We have really, really strong defensive performance in front of him, and as soon as he starts gaining some confidence in that line in front of him, I think we'll start seeing that Matt Turner that we've seen at the start of the season. for me, the goalkeepers. Well, I asked about the depth as well the other day, and some people said, we've got enough. The depth's good. I don't think it is. I mean, if Cropper's not coming back, then is Brad Knighton. Yeah, he's a good quality keeper, but again, is he pushing Turner at the moment? I don't see it, because for me, if he was pushing Turner at the moment, Turner would have been dropped. Turner would have been dropped for me. If he was really, really pushing Turner for that starting spot at the moment, I think we would have seen Turner would have been dropped, and he's not at the moment. So yeah, I haven't really got enough time, because I try and keep these as short as I can. I haven't really got enough time to go into too much depth about the game against obviously Philadelphia, because I've talked for far too long. But obviously, we had some good performance. I think Zahibo had a very good game. He's best in a Revolution shirt for a few weeks now. 80% pass succession. Took a few shots as well. Obviously grabbed a goal, which was always key for him. Pania, obviously he pretty much consistently performs well. I think Casado had one of his more quieter games. I think Juan didn't impress me at all out on that right hand side. Diego did actually play well as that kind of shadow striker, false nine role that he's playing. We had 3 shots, 72% pass completion as well. As I said, Brandon Boy, I think he had a decent performance at left back. I think Delamea actually got something ridiculous in this match. I think he got something like 94% pass possession. I think it was 64 passes and 60 of those actually completed as well. So overall, if I had to give a man of the match, I think it'd probably go to Zahibo. I think he played really well for the whole game. Obviously, grabbing the goal, obviously probably topped it off for him. But the fact that we fell asleep at the end and obviously conceded a goal, I don't know. Obviously, I know it was a penalty, but it's just so annoying. So annoying, because the things though, for me, if that match ends at 2-2, it's okay, that was an okay performance. And this is the only thing I will say about Revolution fans. Sometimes I feel that if we played that exact game and we don't concede that goal at the end, I think we'd have a different reaction over on social media. If that penalty was given and saved, or not given at all, didn't happen. But the whole game, so the whole the whole game, apart from that one decision which obviously led to the goal, this exact same performance, I think it would be seen completely differently because of the results sometimes. So even if we played exactly the same as we did that, but somehow won the game, so maybe their first goal, I don't know, one of the, we won 2-1, but we played exactly the same game. I think again, it's yeah. So I know it's probably the same in all football aspects of life and all that kind of thing, but it's just like annoying sometimes when I just think we didn't actually play that bad. Yes, it's very, very annoying, but some people I don't know. It's just some people were very negative towards the Revolution, and I can completely understand why, because it's the frustration that's been building up with the fact that we haven't won since July the 1st. I completely understand it. Talking of July the 1st, that was the last time we played and won a game at Foxborough. It was against DC United, who are our next opponent. So that mostly just takes me into the prediction now for the game against DC United and how I think the Revolution performed. Now, we've obviously heard news that Michael Mancien has started training, I think, today with the Revolution. So hopefully he might make an appearance, probably on the bench. Not too sure he'll be starting, so I'm not too sure of his fitness levels. But yeah, obviously he's been in training with the Revolution today, which will please a lot of people, and hopefully we can see him get some minutes now under his belt and show what he actually can do for the Revolution. In terms of prediction, I think it's going to be a really, really tight game, as always. Everything is at the moment with Revolution. Are we going to win it though? That's the main thing I need to take away for this. Are we going to win the game? It's really hard for me to. I always predict Revolution will win. I think because we're away from home, I think there's a chance that we won't win. I would actually, what I would like to see in this game, as boring as this sounds, and as many people probably don't want to hear this, I would love to see a 0-0, because I want Revolution to keep a clean sheet. I need Revolution to keep a clean sheet. I would love it if we could sneak a 1-0 win. If we could sneak a 1-0 win, I think the high press works okay, but I would like to see us maybe not start the game with a high press. Maybe start with a slightly deeper line, get a feel for the game, and then kind of work our philosophy and game plan into the game after 10 minutes. So almost kind of disrupt DC, because DC are gonna they're gonna think they're gonna come at us straight from minute 1. And maybe if we don't do that, that disrupts them, and they think, we've got to change our game plan here. What we've kind of completely trained for the whole week is gone out the window. And they're not pressing. What do we do? I think that could really, really, stifle them, and that's where we could lead to us maybe hitting them on a counter and so on and so forth. But my prediction for the game, I'm actually going 0-0. It's boring as that sounds. I would just want us to keep a clean sheet. And yeah, I hope we can do it, really. Anyway, guys, I've rambled for far too long as it is, and I've probably made no sense, and I've probably angered quite a few people. But that's kind of what this is. This is all just from my perspective, my opinion. None of it is complete, right. I try and keep it as factual as I can do. But yeah, it's also to invoke you to kind of communicate with me over on social media, at Revs UK if you don't already. And yeah, get involved. Let me know if I'm a complete knob. Let me know if you completely think my takes are rubbish and I don't know what I'm talking about. Give me your opinion, because I don't want to get into a massive argument with you, but a discussion about revolutions is what I love. I don't always agree with what people say. I've voiced my opinion on plenty of things, and I've not always agreed with what people have said. So yes, some people might say I'm the most positive Revs Revolution fan out there, and maybe I am. But there's a lot of things that I don't agree with. So yeah. Anyway, I've rambled for far too long, as always. But if you enjoyed this one, guys, then don't forget to show your support by dropping likes, shares, letting other Revolutions fans know. I've left this right to the end because I don't kind of want people to think that it's all I talk about. But an amazing Revolution fan has actually started up a GoFundMe campaign to get me to raise money to actually get me over to America to see the Revolution playing a game. Now he's put a date for obviously the game against the Chicago Fire, because that is a game that obviously I would love to go and see out. However, obviously with it getting so close now, I've not been able to book the time off work because obviously I don't want to book the time off work and then not use it. So obviously I will come if it does reach its target. I obviously will come to a game. It might not even be this season, it might be next season. But obviously Matthew Bluenstein, I'm sorry if I've pronounced your name wrong, set it up. Link is over on social media. I think it's my pinned tweet actually as well. So if you want to go and check that out, but obviously please only donate if you can afford to, and do not feel like you need to. But obviously any money given would be appreciated, and I will definitely try and make a game, if not this season, then definitely next season. But yeah, guys, before we actually end today's episode, I just kind of want to talk to you about this podcast. I'm really, really sorry that it's not consistent. I'm really struggling to get it out as much as you can. If you guys still enjoy it and don't mind it being inconsistent, then I will still continue it. I do want to try and build a team up at some point, so it's not just me rambling. But yeah, if you want me to continue the podcast, then please just drop me a tweet and let me know. But anyway, yeah, that's it for today's episode. I hope you have a good weekend, and let's go Revs!